The Prime Minister is promising tighter controls on university admissions in England, with a cap on numbers enrolled on what he's described as poor quality courses.
So what are the Tories up to here then? When I heard about adding restrictions on courses, I automatically thought there's a con in here somewhere or an angle that's beneficial to them.
Rishi Sunak said some degrees were a rip-off. Opposition parties say the government's proposals are a cap on aspiration.
I have friends who are aristocrats, I have friends who are upper class, I have friends who are, working class, but not working class. But
the details from our political correspondent Irony Wells.
These plans would see the Office for Students asked to limit the number of students universities could take on courses that had high dropout rates or did not lead to good jobs.
So question number one is, who gauges what a good job is? If the amount you make means the more money you get, the better the job, then that only shows how undervalued certain jobs are, like nurses and teachers.
Well, we can talk now to the Conservative MP Robert Halfen, who's Schools Minister. Good morning.
Good morning.
How do you define a rip-off course?
What we're saying with our reforms is quite important. We're saying that if students are coming out of a university without good skills, without good jobs...
I don't want the government in charge of determining what constitutes a good job.
Then what the Office for Students is going to do is going to impose recruitment limits on those courses.
So let's leap forward in the day to Robert Halfen's appearance on Good Morning Britain, where he struggles to explain the finer details of this plan.
Some university students are being ripped off, according to the Prime Minister, what have been called Mickey Mouse degrees.
Under new government plans, universities will be forced to limit the number of students they enrol on underperforming courses. Robert Halfen, very good morning to you, Mr Halfen. What kind of courses students might be on right now are you going to suggest aren't worth being on?
Well, good morning. What we're announcing today are three very important things. The first is that we are going to...
So this is the usual statement justifying the policy by giving lots of facts and figures. But fortunately, Susanna and Richard burrow down on two central questions. What makes a good job and what degrees should be capped?
Sorry to interrupt.
Apprenticeships.
Sorry to interrupt.
This is important as well, because we want to
it's
ensure that we give students...
I
know it's an absolute answer to the question.
The question was, which degrees are you going to cap?
We're going to cap those courses that have poor quality outcomes.
And what's the definition of a poor quality outcome?
A poor quality outcome is a student that doesn't progress to a good job 15 months after graduating, a student that doesn't necessarily continue the course if there are too many students dropping out, or complete their course. We want to ensure that university is about jobs and skills, and that people who make that big investment, they get a good job at the end. And as I say, that's why we're also boosting our degree apprenticeships offering, introducing UCAS for apprenticeships as well.
How do you actually define a good job at the end? Are you talking about income, or are you talking about social worth? For example, if somebody's studying for a social care degree, they're not going to make a fortune when they go into social services, having graduated, assuming they graduate. So are you judging it on money? Are you judging it on the moral value of the job that they go into? How are you making this assessment?
Well, what we're saying, if people are doing degrees, they should get good jobs at the end, and that is in public service, or it might be in the private sector, whatever it may be. But there are too many students not getting those jobs, too many students who aren't completing, too many students who are dropping out of courses. So that's why all we're saying is that there should be recruitment limits on those courses that lead to those poor outcomes.
Okay,
we want to
Mr.
improve
Halfen,
quality.
Can I just to follow up that point, I'm still not quite sure what the definition of a good job is, because you basically just said public or private sector. Well, that's every single job. So are you talking about a salary limit, that you should do a degree and reach a certain salary, and that is the definition of a good job?
No, well, look, of course, we're looking also at earnings potential, but that doesn't mean we're expecting students to come out to get footballer salaries. There are students who are doing 3-year or 4-year degrees and not getting jobs that are linked to their degree, or not getting skills that they need or the country needs.
So before I let Richard and Susanna carry on with their grilling of Robert Halfen, I believe this is a way of curbing student loans being taken by people who perhaps will never meet the threshold to pay it back, because these loans are written off when you get older. Anyway, carry on.
And that's what we mean by good jobs,
So
whether they are in the public service or private sector.
Okay, so you're talking about a value to a job.
I'm talking about a good job that has good earnings potential, whether it's in the public or the private sector, that reflects the investment they've made in that degree, and also meets the skills needs that our country needs, but they need individuals need as well.
What are these jobs that don't do that?
Just give us an example.
If you come out of university having done a 3-year degree and you get let's say for at least 15 months after, you're working in a very low paid job that is not reflecting the investment you've made in that degree.
What's a very
that
low?
is not
What's
worth...
very low pay? What's the salary? Sorry, I just go back to the first question. What is the salary we're talking about that's very low pay?
What I'm talking about, this is not rocket science. If you're investing in a degree,
not.
you
There's an answer here somewhere.
Yeah, well, exactly, and I'm giving you that answer. If you're doing a degree, then you get that a job that is relevant to your degree. We know that the IFS, for example, said that 70,000 students who leave university would have been better off if they had not worse off, the better off if they had not gone to university. They've been disadvantaged because they're getting low-paid jobs that does not reflect the investment they've made in that degree.
Mr. Halfen, I really wish, and I bet I'm speaking for our viewers as well, I really wish you'd just give us a handful of examples of the kind of degree courses which you think are rubbish degree courses. Just give us a few examples of actual courses that you think are wasting everybody's time.
Look, we know that a number of universities are lower than the threshold of 60% that are progressing on to good skilled jobs or good progression in additional education at the end.
To give me an example of the kind of degree courses that you would define as a Mickey Mouse degree course. Can you just give a straight answer to that incredibly simple question? Basket weaving, social care, fishing? I mean, just give us an example.
No,
what do you mean?
Because it's the wrong question. Because what we're doing is we're focusing on core individual courses at universities that have poor recruitment outcomes.
Such as? Give us an example of the kind of courses that we're talking about. You're not presumably talking about history or English or economics or politics or law?
Because it may be at different universities, some courses, the same courses have good outcomes and some have poor outcomes. So we're focusing on those courses at individual universities that have poor outcomes.
Such as? Give us an example.
It could be any subject, because it may be down to for all kinds of reasons. It may be down to the teaching. I've
never heard a woollier policy. Mr. Halfen, I'm sorry, I've never heard a woollier policy.
Actually,
maybe it's our questions, and maybe it's your answers. I don't know.
Click here for a video about Rishi Sunak.